We've spent 4 videos talking about mistakes to avoid, how to organize your evidence, who to be careful trusting, and some of what I wish someone had told me before I filed. Today I want to close this series of videos with something practical. When do you actually need accredited help? When can you handle things yourself? Because the honest answer is, it really depends. And I want to walk you through how to think about that instead of just telling you what to do. So let's start on the basics. Accredited help means someone recognized to represent veterans in front of the VA, an accredited attorney, an accredited claims agent, or an accredited representative from a VSO, the DAV, American Legion, etc. These are people who have gone through a process that qualifies them to help prepare, present, and sometimes represent your claim to the VA. That's different than a friend who knows how this works, or someone online with a lot of confidence and a following. It's also different from paying someone who isn't accredited to help you, which, as we talked about a couple videos back, something to be really cautious of. Some situations are straightforward enough that a well-informed veteran can handle them themselves. No accredited help needed. This usually applies when the connection between your service and your condition is perfectly clear, perfectly documented, doesn't require any type of real interpretation. If you have a solid set of service records, clear medical evidence, and the connection between the two is obvious, filing on your own, while still being careful and organized, is very manageable. This is where everything we've been talking about in earlier videos really pays off. A well-organized file, a clear timeline, honest documentation. This is not about gaming the system. This is about understanding the system that you're already working inside. Sometimes, once you understand it, you're capable of navigating a straightforward claim with no need for anyone else to help you get through it. Then there's the other situations where things get more complicated. That's usually where accredited help earns its value. I've used accredited help. If your case involves multiple conditions that are connected to each other, sometimes it's called a secondary condition. The reasoning required to properly document those links can get complicated really fast. An accredited rep who does this regularly, they may catch some connections that you wouldn't even think to make. If you've already been denied and you're trying to figure out why and what you do next, that's another moment where accredited help is worth strongly considering. Understanding a denial well enough to respond effectively often requires someone who reads these decisions regularly and knows what the VA is actually looking for. And if your situation involves complex medical history or unclear timelines or gaps in your records that need to be explained, well, that complexity is exactly the type of place that quality accredited help tends to make a really big difference. A lot of veterans hesitate because they assume accredited help means a very expensive process. Can be, but it's not often the case. There are many accredited representatives, especially through VSOs, who help veterans at zero cost. It's worth looking at this before assuming you can't afford help, because that assumption is going to keep you from getting the support that you're really entitled to if you don't just get past it. Here's something that doesn't get said enough. This isn't all or nothing. You can start organizing your own evidence, build your own timeline, get your documentation in order, use everything we've covered in this last series of videos. And then bringing in accredited help at the point where things get complex, like maybe a denial or a complicated secondary claim or a tertiary claim, which is even further. In fact, showing up to an accredited representative organized with your evidence and a clear timeline will make their job so much easier, and it can make your outcome so much stronger. You're not handing them a blank slate. You're not making them ask you questions to explain everything. I want to be very clear about something though. Accredited help is not a guarantee of an outcome. Nobody, not me, not an accredited rep, not an attorney, can promise you a specific rating or a guaranteed approval. What accredited help can do is make sure that your claim is presented as strongly and accurately as possible, given your, facts and evidence. What you say at the exam matters, but what the evidence says matters even more, and accredited agents make sure that that evidence is put together in the right way. Their job is not to promise you an actual guarantee. No one can do that. If your situation feels straightforward, if you've done the work to organize your evidence, if you understand the process, you can probably handle your claims all yourself. If it feels overly complicated, multiple conditions, a denial that you just don't understand, gaps in your records, those are reasons that you should definitely start considering accredited organizations and start with a VSO. So what we've talked about across these 5 videos, organizing evidence, understanding the process, asking the right questions, being honest about your situation, all of that puts you in a stronger position no matter which direction you go, accredited or not. Hey, thanks for watching. If you got something out of this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Helps me get the word out to more and more veterans out there. And that's the whole idea behind all of this. Take care of one another. See you in the next one.